Alright, so what I'm going to do is show you at least how I programmed my AMS 2000 on my Turbo Hayabusa. So everything's been wired in. I'm actually going to use Boost by Gear, which is controlled by a 0 to 5 volt wire that's connected to my shift, my shift indicator that goes, it's underneath the tank. It also controls the in-dash gear selector. But what I'm going to do is, and I've already done this, but I'm just kind of showing you how this works. So I'm going to click Live Data. All right, so I'm going to turn my bike on. And now what I'm going to end up doing is enabling this controller. It basically gives me a real-time thing of what's going on in terms of voltage, which is over here. I'm going to look at this gauge. And I can also set boost pressure. So if I want to make sure that everything's wired correctly, this tab, as you can hear it, and right now it's holding 17.6 pounds of boost. As soon as I release it, it goes down, so everything's wired properly. Again, now what I'm going to look at is voltage. So right now it's showing 5 volts because I'm in neutral. And when I go to first gear, it says 1.84 volts. Second gear, 2.30. Third gear, 3.06. And then I'm back in kind of a weird neutral. But anyway, you get the idea. And next what I'll do is I'll take those voltage readings and I will plug them into a graph that basically looks like this. So I'm going to disable this section and I'm going to go over to the system. So I'm going to unplug this, turn off my bike, but basically I'll open a user packet that I've already saved. Okay, and what I'm going to do is go to setup 1. So I have it set to measure voltage. That's my primary sync, and I'm going to also set parameters. So if my voltage for first gear was 1.84, I set it for 1.8, so it'll actually activate if the voltage drops, and it shuts off at 5 volts. That's in neutral, so I don't need any kind of boost going there. I have something set up a scramble relative time. Basically what this is, I can set up any kind of boost. Right now I have it at 4 psi. I can do 10, 20, whatever. But this button under here, this is for my air shifter. This button controls basically an overboost feature, which will add more boost pressure at the wastegate, whatever I have preset it to. If I say I'm losing the race and I'm set at 10 psi, I can hit that button and it will automatically increase the psi to 14 if I set it for 4 above. Now, voltage wise, this is what I have. Now, since I set it for 3rd to 6th gear at the same psi, which is 10 in this case, this dot represents first gear, second gear, third gear, 6th gear, and then neutral. Alright, so let me see if I can find my cursor here. Now, it was 1.84 volts for first gear, so you basically see down in the corner, 1.84 volts is what I have it set at. And I want 6 psi in first gear. Second gear, 2.3 volts. And I want it to go to 8.5 psi in second gear. And I keep increasing that as I go along depending on what I want. Now I also have 5 selections from this knob right here. What that will do is, let's say I go to setup 5. Okay, so now you can see first gear I kept the same, second, and I might have gone up just a little bit more. 8.5. Third gear, fourth gear, and 5th gear, I went up to 23 psi. So I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to go this high, but I kind of did increasing boost. So on the next one, you know, 4 and 3, they're down a little bit more, just to increase it while we're tuning. It's kind of a nice feature once you get it all set up. It's an expensive thing to do, but very nice in order to be able to control it and very easily say, yeah, I'm going to go for this setting right now, and do it easily like that. So that's my little spiff. I don't know if I can really answer any questions because I had so much trouble hooking this thing up. Thanks to Sebastian at NLR Racing. You know, he's a patient guy, but I'm just not all that smart when it comes to this kind of stuff.